Alright, here's Jappy Joe coming at you. This is right after the bright idea that I would start making videos. So bear with me. I'll come up with a simple idea right at first. I'm going to try to remain off the politics unless requested. But about the statement of comedians. Comedians are also modern day philosophers, as I believe. Even though it sounds absurd, and you think, man, this kid might be crazy, but it's I. In a sense that every time I state something, I'm gonna explain why I said it. So as I watch comedians such as Bill Burr, Amy Schumer, Jimmy Carr, Joe Rogan, I don't know. I need to get to the other ones that are more political in a sense, because like Jim Gaffigan is kind of just a goofball, and then there's I don't know, a couple other gentlemen, sometimes women, in the mix that they have some crazy ideas, and not always political, but when they state political facts, not even facts, just opinions, it can ruin a celebrity's name in a sense that you always see every election all these celebrities say that they're going to move, they're going to do this, do that when the politics come, but why would you want to do that? Is that you live off entertainment and people liking you and liking what you do, but when you take a political side, you're immediately, like, let's say, taking half of America out. Because I think America is good, like, half. Half and half, you know? And a population-wise, not a state-wise, because, electoral college. Even though I said I'm not going to stay political, I'm not taking a side. But as I watch Amy Schumer, her new leather special was pretty hilarious, I would say, but it's kind of like the same comedy stuff where they talk about being a woman and like all the things that come with being a woman in a very vulgar manner, which is very rare to see in women, but it's always seen in men, and like male comedians are always kind of like being vulgar, but it's almost expected in a social manner that men are going to be vulgar, nasty fucks. I mean, look at the sweatshirt. Like, I mean, I work construction, hair's messed up, had a couple drinks, house is fucked up, living my own, real young. Nothing's going to be great. And then when you hear a woman talk about all these vulgar things, such as, like, sex and, like, hygiene and, like, the nasty shit they go through, and like hearing them how they like shit and poop, like in her leather comedy, she's talking about like shitting like a machine gun. It's like it's kind of like nuts to hear, but it's more of a shock factor that makes it funny. That's how I see it. But I turned it off once she got to the like the whole gun control thing that she started talking about. Not because I disagree. I'm not saying I disagree or agree with gun control, because I'm gonna try to stay neutral. It's more the fact that it became so cringy to hear that she just stepped off the comedian stuff, stepped off like what she came here for, and more like try to preach like her political agenda. And it was, I don't know, I thought it was wrong, why would you want to go off and start making yourself biased? Because now, half the people of America immediately like hate you. Well, not hate you, but it's just like let's say bigotry is the thing, and you don't like bigotry. You're gonna immediately be like unappealing to the bigots, and they might be like a good amount of your base, because a lot of bigots watch comedy. I don't know. There's no point if you want to live off people's like for you. Don't have people not like you. Like, no one like you. I don't live off people's likes. I live off with the work I can fucking do, and I go to school, it's just the work I can do. It's here's my paper, here's a grade, and then I go to work, and then it's like it doesn't matter how much they like me. It's the work I can put out. But then if you live off people liking you, you have to be amazing in their eyes, and you can't disagree with them in a sense. It's they pay your bills. So, comedians or something. I've always wanted to be a comedian, because I always liked modern day philosophy, and I like to I like to spit my dumb shit out and see what people say, even though it's vulgar as anything. I really like to go to college. I go to community college currently. I go for engineering, and it's a stale major, and it doesn't. There's no debate. You can never debate anything. It's either like it is or it isn't. And if there is a debate, someone is going to come up with an answer that is correct, and other people will start to agree. But when you I currently take a sociology class, and there's always a debate, and there is no way to be sure if anyone is right. So you can only hypothesize, and you can only say things off correlation that can be so skewed, and you can never have a perfect environment. You can never have a perfect controlled experiment with people and ideas, because then there's always there's always an X factor that could be changing things. No one ever thinks Hitler was like a good mind, but he was able to manipulate an entire nation to create a genocide, and that's kind of the idea is why would that occur? And then people state this and state this and state this. Maybe he was just born fucked up, or maybe it was through environmental changes in his life, or maybe it's always a debate. But I live in this major that has these very linear thinkers, in the sense that they're very disciplined. Go home, they study. They come in and do the test. They're really good at math. There's no debate in math. You don't sit and have a conversation in class with the teacher about dumb shit. You're not gonna argue about it, because that an answer is gonna come to. You will ask, "Is this right?" So why would you? So maybe I'm just using these videos as an outlet or something. Maybe I'm hoping to find debate, tension. It's I want to hear what people have to say, because when I state it to these engineering kids, they don't know what to think or say. Some of them are really smart, but other ones they really they got there through just straight up reading, straight up studying, everything like that. Whereas other ones were able to think their way through it and not have to work as hard. But other kids, I praise the ones that worked hard to get there, whereas I didn't. I was just somehow I ended up there. Honestly, I don't know how. High school wasn't the greatest time for me, and some of these kids have nothing to say about it, and other ones have a lot to say. And some are so disciplined, and even by their parents, that they are so brainwashed. Not brainwashed. That sounds awful. That sounds negative. Set in their ways, that when I state my ideas, that seem so taboo, because the taboo ideas are the ones that are fun, the ones that are really out there, that they immediately have to disagree, or they have fun and debate with me, but some are incapable of coming up with a good argument sometimes. And I'm saying, not praising myself, just being able to debate such a ridiculously radical idea is really the fun in it. And I guess this video is a partial clip of where I am now, and comedians and bias, and mostly just the spread of ideas.